Hi guys, welcome back to Matches and Mayhem. I am your host, Phoenix the Duel Master. And we have Nora, the Cutthroat Contessa. Wait, nope, that is not you. Okay. Alright guys, welcome back to Matches and Mayhem. I'm your host for today, Phoenix the Duel Master. And we have Nora, the Vendetta Queen. Alright guys, let's get into it. This is the Challenge All-Star Rivals Season 5, Episodes 9 and 10 recap.
Good. I feel like I'm a stranger. I haven't been here in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but welcome back. And let's get right into it. I mean,
Okay.
this season has been a little bit of a roller coaster, I believe. It's been up and down. But definitely an improvement over Season 40.
So much better. So much better. Thank you.
So I think they're finally getting back on the right track. And, you know, it's been a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. I definitely like the casting better. I like the people. And I mean, we'll get more into it, but I just, a couple comments I made on this past episode, like Adam and Steve, I'm like, it's such a change up of what we're used to. And we'll get into it later, but yeah, it's been nice casting.
Yeah, I think they definitely did better in the cast this time around. And I'm hoping they learn from this and bring that into the future challenges.
I mean, I think anytime you bring Daddy Turbo in, it's going to be a good season. Honestly.
You think this is Turbo's last challenge?
It better not be. Keep bringing him back. I don't care if Turbo wins or loses. Just bring Turbo back. He's everything to me.
I want to see Turbo in a single, like a challenge single. But
yeah,
his weak point has always been his social game. So if he's alone, it might be rough for him. But at least he gets to show off his physical attributes, his skills, his competitiveness, and we get to see that. All right, so let's get into it. So one thing I want to mention is that the challenges have been a lot better this season. The one we saw, and a lot more cooler, interesting. Some of them may not be as physically competitive, but they're more unique, fun, interesting. They still take a certain level of skill to do, right? So I want to applaud the producers and the creators for finding more innovative ways to do these things. I think they learned from their previous seasons of All-Stars that if they do things too physical, they're going to end up with a lot of old people injuries.
I was going to say, I like that they're mixing it up too, so that, because I don't think overall, I mean, we have some all-star casts, like physically, some of them are great competitors, and a lot of them, though, aren't at their prime physical, so they're doing enough of a mix where it's a little physical, a little this, little that, to kind of give a more fair shot to the groupings.
Yeah, and it's good. I like that. I like the little mix they're doing. This challenge that they did called Bubble Bullseye was kind of cool. I think it was kind of like a shuffleboard type game where they had to push their people through some soap and slide and try to get as close to the center as possible. It was pretty fun to watch. Looked like they had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I liked it. It was something a little bit different, but it still took a little technique. It was some luck. So even if, physically you weren't the best at like pushing your partner or something, your partner had to know how to lean and, and keep their balance. So I liked it.
Yeah, and luckily, my team, I picked very well this season. I got to pat myself on the back, had two really good picks this season between Adam and Steve and Shane. So, and luckily for them, they secured their star and a victory from that challenge, which has caused a little bit of turmoil because with that, we know Frank got a little bit scared what Shane was going to do, if he's going to uphold the little alliance they have going on, and was he going to backstab him? It's always fun watching Frank squirm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my favorite part is seeing Frank want to go off and be his old self, but he remembers he has a big boy job now that he has to go home to after this. So you see it in his face, trying to control himself the best he can, but...
The ticking time bomb. Mm-hmm. So with that, Veronica and Katie still don't have a star. They're asking to be thrown in. Nicole and Melissa also do not have a star, and they also want to be thrown in. So it puts them in a situation, and it puts Nany and Turbo in a situation because they're coming after their star. So, and Nany and Turbo are strong competitors. They're only one not really in their alliance, so their star is up for risk. And you could see Nany and Turbo kind of freaking out almost. Turbo's getting more irritated as the days go on. Nany is, feeling her back against the wall and another chance of her being a champion slipping out of her fingers. You can start seeing the pressure, between the two teams.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting to watch how they handled it. But ultimately, between the house vote and Deshane, they throw in Nicole and Melissa and Veronica and Katie. And this elimination was probably one of the most interesting, exciting, and close eliminations I think we've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
Yeah, it was
probably one of the closest ones. And honestly, it kept us on the edge of our seats. Even until the last one, we honestly didn't know who won.
Yeah.
The way it was going. It was very well produced as well.
It couldn't have been better for those two teams too. Like, not to be mean, but Katie and Veronica aren't the most physical. So if it was something that it took a lot of endurance and running or climbing, I don't think they would have had a chance. But because this is something that took some technique, communication, maybe a touch of luck to kind of, see how you're getting it going if you can't figure it out, it was perfect.
I honestly it was just overall a great elimination. I have nothing bad to say. It was, a nail biter. It was close. And Nicole and Melissa pull it out at the last second. And the way they hit that, because I thought Veronica and Katie won just because they had it. They were in the steps of lining it up, right about to get into the middle one. And Nicole and Melissa just pull it up and drop it and right in the hole and pop the balloon. And then, they won. So, hats off to them. They earned it. Unfortunately, Veronica's plans and her deception ultimately failed and she was eliminated. But she gave it a good run. It was a lot of drama she stirred up. So it was a lot of fun watching her back to her old ways, causing mayhem and mischief. So yeah, that was fun to watch. And then we get into, and of course, Nany and Turbo got their star stolen. Old Turbo was starting to come out a little bit after that.
It didn't make any sense why they were taking it from them when they're not technically the best team. That's what I don't get, but whatever.
I think a lot of people fear Turbo.
Yeah, as they should.
Who would you have wanted them to take the star from?
I mean, if I was in it, like me, like this body and all, Adam and Steve. I mean, I can't outrun them. I mean, think about it. Not that I can outrun Turbo or Nany, but like maybe there's some kind of physical chance, like strength chance, I can outstrength what Nany can do. Maybe I'm stronger than her. I can't outrun. I'm not stronger. I mean, Adam and Steve in a finale just doesn't make sense to want to. They're two men. So if there's any carrying, they already have an advantage on that with strength. So I'm like, I don't know. But, the house, do your thing. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, what Nany said is it doesn't make any sense. And I mean, not to be biased, it didn't make sense. And I don't know. I don't know why you would leave them.
As somebody who specifically chose Adam and Steve, I saw this coming. I saw the potential out of all the teams. I know DeVroy was hot on everybody's list. But in terms of me...
If you were in the house and you were going to run this finale next week, whose star would you take?
Oh, 100% take Adam and Steve's star.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, their back's been up against the wall and they keep winning. They're literally practicing for the challenge.
They are clearly the best team. I picked them knowing that they're the best team. The most well-rounded. They developed their communication skills. They started out rivals and, fix that up real quick. So, I mean, they are... I'm not saying they're best friends, but I'm saying in terms of being able to communicate and do the challenges, they've proved time and time and again that they can work together to overcome obstacles. And that is what's needed in the final. So, honestly, they are the strongest team currently in the house.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't just make it here on luck, right? They fought their way over here. They beat half the house in eliminations. So even if you took their star, chances are they're going to get it back. And they might take it from you. So you also have to be careful on who you make enemies with. And they're definitely not the ones you want to make enemies with.
But everybody's technically, was against them for half the season. So technically, you're not really making a new target on yourself by taking it, picking them to take it from because...
True. But
everybody's already thrown them in so many times.
But being so close to the final, if you try to take my star right before the final and I win the next elimination, I'm taking it right back from you and then you're going home. You know what I'm saying? So,
look,
I get what you're saying, but
it just doesn't make sense. At this point, there are certain teams that know physically They cannot outrun and they cannot outstrength this team. Maybe you're banking on an eating challenge, but I don't think the finale is going to be a 4-part eating challenge. I don't think it's going to be a 4-part popping balloon challenge. You know, like there is going to be, if it's not, it'll be one of the worst finales in history. There has to be some kind of endurance. There has to be some physical aspect of it because that is the challenge. This isn't a game show in the sense of like we're watching, you know, traders. This is the challenge. Challenge is the key word. We need to see something physical. We need a mix of stuff. Now, I don't think it'll be as heavy running or biking or, you know, what we've seen in the past, but there has to be some of it. And when you put that, I always think of strength. We typically always see some kind of carrying challenge. At some point, you have 2 strong, able-bodied men. You're all at a disadvantage. Every single one of the teams that has a female that's not as strong as another male, which is all these girls, you know, mostly. Even if you're very like a Laurel and you're super strong, her partner, if it's like a Melissa or a Nany, are not as strong. So you're already at a disadvantage with that. At least with Nany and Turbo, Nany is a fair competitor in strength for a lot of the girls, you know, like it's somebody that you can match up at.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, they're still here. So, and that's good for me because they're one of my teams I picked. And, you know, we go into episode 10 and it gets a little heated now. We're going into the end game. Everybody's wondering when the final is going to be. We have, you know, a lot of speculation, you know, a lot of chatter. We get into the pressure sandwich challenge, and that one is, as its name suggests, a lot of things coming up. You know, pressure cooker was used a lot in that episode. Tensions were running high. People were yelling. Emotions were everywhere. You know, it was a it's a simple challenge, but one that you had to be communicative in, and as well as, you know, patient, had teamwork, and I mean, for the most part, the Shane did not have that. I mean, there was a lot of yelling on Shane's part. You know, Shane was, you know, she was holding her own. She was biting her tongue a lot of the time. But looks like Shane was just not a great communicator. And that comes back to bite him later on in the episode. But funny enough, Frank and Sam take that as a victory. And you know what? Props to them. Frank was a little bit surprised at that as well. But I mean, they focused, they communicated. You know, they had a strategy, they executed, so, you know, props to them. Nany and Turbo were close too, but ultimately they win. And going into the final, they have secured their spot and have probably the most power in the house right now.
Yeah, it was a good challenge. I mean, once again, not saying it's easy because I'm sure it was still hard, and I think it was either Frank or Adam. I can't remember. Maybe it was Frank who said, you know, for you people at home who think this is easy, I don't think it's easy, but I do think how far they had to travel was not as far as like a normal challenge. Like a normal challenge, TJ would have had them going up a hill, you know, over an
but not holding
course.
That. Yeah, but not holding
even
that.
With holding something, or they would have got to a checkpoint and then had to carry thing, you know, like, so it's still very, you know, it's catered for a more wide variety of competitors to do.
All right, we need to take Adam up on his offer, and we need to do this challenge of, I think he said 10 toilet rolls.
Yeah.
We need to test that and see how far we can get without dropping. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, let's see if we can get from let's see if we can do 20 feet, you know, maybe from one part of the living room to the dining room. Let's see if we can do that.
We could try it out.
But like you said, I think a lot of it seems easy on TV than it is in person. So I 100% agree with that. I don't think I could do a full challenge show, but I would love to try. I think we should set that up one day between the matches and Mayhem Fam to do a little mini challenge.
I'm gonna need some time. I'm right now not in the physical aspect.
No, the baby can join in on the fun, you know.
Well, I need time to get ready after the baby. I haven't been able to do any of my workouts, anything. So I'm like, I would need some time to get back into the gym like my old me.
All right, so we'll after the baby's born, we'll set it. We'll get you back into training form.
Yeah.
Baby could be referee. There you go. So we did see a little blow up of Shane, and Adam I think Adam was just kind of fed up with how Shane was treating, you know, his partner. What's her name? Was it Devon?
Yeah.
Devon? Okay.
Devon.
Devon, yeah, I think he got a little fed up with how he was treating her, and he kind of called him out of it on it, roughly. So you said during the episode you could tell he's a girl dad because
Yeah.
he didn't like the way Shane was talking to
Yeah,
Devon.
he even if he was a boy dad, like if he had his boys, he's raising them well. But for girls, you can tell he's used to dealing with a little bit more emotionally based conversations and how that's going to make, when you scream at a girl, it's different than, and I'm not saying to scream at boys, but girls take things a little bit differently. So you can see the way he's handling it. And it definitely is his dad side coming out, talking to Shane, like have manners, speak with manners, it's a new age. It's funny as we grow and well, we're all becoming parents too, watching these people who are now all parents to watch how they're, what comes out of them. It's just very funny. Even Melissa pipes in and, says like, doing her whole thing, how you speak to somebody, you need to learn how you respond because you can't mimic that behavior, in front of your children. They'll think that's normal to yell at people, So it's just funny to see everybody growing up and just how they kind of speak. I would have loved to see this kind of interaction, and I'm curious, this is kind of what I wanted to say earlier, if we had Johnny or Wes, and although we know Wes is truly an upstand guy, I mean, like you can tell he has like a heart of gold inside. He comes off trying to be Mr. Big and Bad, but you see his friendships with these people. He's loyal. He loves them, their family. So I know inside he's not like that. But when he's on the show, he's a character. Yeah. And I would just love to see how this would play out with characters like him, trying to correct them.
Yeah.
How they would just probably bulldoze him.
I would love to see that. Wes is one of my all-time favorites. So I would love to see the interaction between that. And Adam and Steve, they're getting up there. They're doing me justice in this competition.
Yeah.
If they help me win my crown back and my belt and my title from E-Rock, they might make it up to my top 5 list. So with that, tensions still flare after the competition. The winners of that competition were, unfortunately, like we said, Frank and Sam.
You know what, though? I don't think it's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, I want Turbo and Nany. I want Turbo to win everything. I love Turbo. Whether he was on my team or not, I don't think I could go against him. I would still want Turbo to win. But I like that it's shaking things up. As watchers, we cannot predict who is just going to steamroll the whole season, like in past seasons. For a lot of seasons, we kind of knew how things were going to go. The episode would end and we already know how the next episode's going to finish. Just because we're so used to these characters doing the same thing over and over. This one, we literally don't really know who's going to win these competitions right now. Like, it's anybody's game sometimes, and that's a nice change.
Yeah. So, after that, they go out. Party, the Shane still haven't figured things out. And props to Devon, she's keeping her cool. She's, trying to set a good example for her daughter back home. Well, you can tell she's reaching her boiling point. And when they're out, I think this was intentional. She was talking to Frank, of all people, about Shane, right next to Shane, saying how he's trying to play the villain and he's acting like this and that. And, and Shane is just there in the corner, just fuming, like...
The head turn and getting comfortable
he was like,
listen.
Word? He was like, all right, we could go home now. We could go home, right? And he seemed petty enough to do that. So...
Yeah.
I was just...
that is his downfall, though. And I get it. I mean, that's just his personality. But, man, that's your downfall, that you're getting so heated over such stupid shit. Like, when he says, I don't think I said anything actually mean to her. Well, screaming at her alone is just rude. And it's your partner. And you guys actually have a friendship. So I get it in the heat of the moment. Sometimes that's just how people are. We've seen it with Jordan, and he's trying to work on that. We've seen it with Frank. We might see it again. Fingers crossed we get a blow up at the... I shouldn't say that for Sam's sake, but, we've seen that, and they're all trying to work on it. He needs to work on that, because at this grown age, we can't be doing that. And if you are at the end, if that's your friend, you're going to be like, sorry, I don't know. I just was too heated, like, my bad. Just take accountability for it. If that's how you compete and you get so, like, hyper-focused and you can't really... control your emotions, fine, whatever. But at the end, if we're actually like, have a good partnership, I expect you to be like, my bad. I know I was like a little crazy.
And with that, he went to cry to the producers, told them I can't do this, I want to go home. She's making me out to look like, no, Shane, you're making yourself out to look like this. At the end of the day, you're in control of your own actions. She can't make you look like anything you're not. So if you're coming off as a villain, that'll be for everybody else to decide, not necessarily her. So just be better. So he threatened going home, and then it's the next day. But before we get there, I just want to say how hilarious it was that when Nany was talking to Frank, saying like, "Look, throw me in against Adam and Steve," and then they zoom over to Turbo, and Turbo just staring at the I think there's a koi fish in the pond,
Yeah.
and just literally focused on them and giving us one of his Turboisms. Of a fish will always be a fish, but a human could be a snake or whatever. It was peak. It was
That's the
peak
truth.
Turbo. Yeah. It was wise
Turbo.
words. Wise
I
words.
love Turbo. I don't know, as a human, I relate to him on so many levels because I feel the same way. I'm always like at a party, you'll find me if they have a dog, I'll be petting the dog in a corner, not talking to anybody. That's where I prefer to be.
Yeah, so that was a great moment of Turbos. And then next day, luckily, the Shane figured it out. Shane came up to her, apologized. They came up with a safe word, or called what? Quick shift,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's
To
stupid. I'm sorry. It's stupid, but
it might work for them. I think it might be something to snap Shane back into it. Like, okay, I'm doing this again. So we'll see if that works. More power to them. They're one of my teams. I need either them or Adam and Steve to win. So I just need you guys to get it together, at least for the final. You guys could not talk after that. I could care less. But for the final, get it together. So with that, between the House vote and the nominations is Nany and Turbo voted in by the House. And in not too shocking, predictable Frank fashion, he's been doing it the whole season, right? Throwing in the strongest team. Who does he throw in? None other than my ace team, Adam and Steve. So thanks a lot for that, Frank. Thanks a lot. Were you surprised? I doubt you were surprised. I don't think anybody was surprised by that.
I mean, Frank's smart. He knows what he's up against at the end. He's not, I can't even be mad at him. He knows what he has to go into the finale with. So he is trying to set it up the best possible chance for him to not have a complete blow up at Sam and degrade her on national TV.
Risk his job.
And risk his job as a physical therapist when you're telling somebody who physically can't run anymore to get off their ass or whatever the hell he's going to say to her, wants to say to her. So, like he's trying to set it up to not have that blow up. So I have to respect him for that. But I kind of hope we see a blow up. I mean, I like when Frank just
we're gonna see
loses it.
I definitely
can see the steam coming off of him when he's blowing up.
I think a blow up is around the corner. Mm-hmm. I think it's there. It's right. It's in the writing. Yeah. It's Frank.
Shane, no way he's gonna Shane doesn't have enough of smoke like kind of Frank gets. Shane's is more temper tantrum. Frank's is a real blow up, and that's we haven't seen one yet.
So with this, we have a battle of the eliminations. I mean, unsurprisingly, I called this early on. It's only a matter of time before Frank backstabbed Adam and Steve. They should have sent Frank home a while ago. But honestly, no, I would have kept Frank and Sam, because for Adam and Steve, their best chances are who's left now. Almost couldn't get any better except if you had Veronica and Katie in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They are in a great position to take first place. If they're not trying second place, but definitely first place. So with this, the only obstacle left is Nany and Turbo. So it's Nany and Turbo versus Adam and Steve. And a kind of interesting game that they played. It was interesting. I liked it. It was a little bit different. It reminded me of a game we saw on a different game show where they had to bluff and see what the other person had as the first round. I know you probably weren't too much of a fan of it, but I thought it was kind of cool.
I probably, once again, me and Turbo, same wavelength. I was just like, what? Like, I don't know.
Turbo had some fun in it. I saw him laugh a little bit.
Yeah, he was a little. Like, you're trying to have fun with it and trying to enjoy it with people. Just like I was trying to enjoy it too, but I was just like, I don't know. But I'm also not good at lying, so I don't know. So it was smart on Adam and Steve the way they carried on. They made a game of it But I don't know. I wouldn't have been like Nany. I would have been dead face at them, like not laughing, not anything, because I'm trying to win, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the answers here, But I guess at that point they're like, what the hell, it is what it is. So
Yeah, I mean, Adams and Steve's strategy was perfect for them. That's one of their strengths is that they're quick to strategize and come up with ways around things. That's definitely one of their strengths. And I mean, it played to their strengths. Steve doesn't seem like he was a good liar, but he used his improv comedy skills to kind of deflect, and it hit their intentions pretty well. So I mean, it worked out for them. They were having a great time. It was great to see
yeah.
them dancing. Adam showing off his moves on the chair. Props to him on that one. So it was fun to watch. Ultimately, they had the lead at the end. I mean, and the elimination went as you expected, and Adam and Steve knocked out Nany, officially saying that they took out half the team in elimination, which is probably one of the most impressive elimination feats we've seen, I think, in all challenge history, if not most recent memory. But very dominating performance in elimination. Anytime they went in, they came out. So definitely a force to be reckoned with.
I agree. They're a great pairing. I mean, their biggest downfall was just them being able to communicate. And in this episode that he talks about, he still wants that apology. He goes to get it. He doesn't get it.
Does not get
And then
it.
he just kind of accepts it, which I'm like, you kind of have to. Sometimes that's the way it is. That is life. Like, sometimes you want apologies out of people and you want this closure to a situation. And that is your closure. He's saying this is just how it had to go for me. And you have to just accept that, whether you like it or not sometimes. And so I think that's the perfect approach. Like, sure, maybe it's not the apology I wanted, but I said my piece. I got it off my chest. Let's just go ahead and get this challenge. Let's get this money now. Who cares? Like,
Yeah, who cares about that? It's money now.
yeah.
All that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You guys made up now, so let's get the money. Get me that championship, please. Come on, guys. So, with that being said, I mean, they knocked it out the park. The finals is here. Next episode, we're in the finals. The teams are solidified. We have, Adam and Steve. We have Deshane, Frank and Sam, Nicole and Melissa. So, I mean, let's see what happens. But before we talk final talk, Nicole and Melissa's relationship, do you think they crossed any boundaries?
Absolutely. To me, she's already cheated. Nicole's already cheated multiple times. I don't think you need to be naked to cheat on somebody. Like, I don't think they need to be in bed having full intercourse or whatever to cheat. I mean, when she's lifting her up, slapping her ass with her, up in the air, Melissa up in the air, like, that's cheating. Like, that's too close. That's weird. It's not like you're just like, good job, and you give a pat, on the butt, like football players or something. No, that was very sexual. Very, like, even in the pool and everything, how they're hanging on each other. It's, I don't know. It's too far. It's too much. It's too much.
Well, her girlfriend didn't seem too pleased with that, so we'll see how what happens in the reunion, how like the fallout of Nicole's flirtation with Melissa. We'll see what happens with that. So with the finals, is there any predictions you have? Make one prediction. Let's see if it comes true.
Steve and Adam win.
Okay, I like that one. That's a great prediction.
I don't have a team, so I don't care who wins, but I mean, they're the most deserving of it at this point. I would die if, like, Frank and Sam won. That would just be like...
God, Frank's ego would hit an all-time high.
As it should. I mean, if he can pull that off, if there's knockouts, like a way to knock out a team, and he can somehow knock out, Adam and Steve, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just hoping TJ throws some kind of crazy wrench in it. Somewhere at some point, I want something crazy where our jaws drop. Because we haven't had anything like that yet.
It's been a while since we had something like that. The challenge has become predictable in the fact of things haven't been really changing or any big twists. So we'll see if TJ has something in store for us. But the prediction I want to make is that Frank is 100% going to blow up on Sam. Old Frank's going to come out at one point, and it might be glorious.
I feel bad saying it, but I'm ready. It's not a finale if we don't get some screaming. I need to see some yelling. Back in the day when Big E was on the floor and they were like, CT's like, get up, and
God,
Brad had to literally say he's dying, like you're gonna give him a heart attack. Like when Brad's the voice of reason and Brad's a hothead, like, I miss those days of the challenge. Yeah. It's just the good old days.
So with that being said, it brings us to the end. Guys, tell us who you think is going to win the final. Do you think Adam and Steve, it's guaranteed? Or do you think Frank and Sam might win? Melissa and Nicole? The Shane maybe? I don't know. Drop a like and a comment and let us know and tell us why. And we'll see you next time for the finale. Bye.